I'd like to call the utilities meeting, August 11th, 2020, to order. Mr. Thomas, would you please lead us in an invocation followed by the pledge?
Yes, sir.
And all members are present.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, as we come at this hour in the evening, we want to thank you, Lord, for the many blessings you bestowed upon each of us. I ask, Lord, that you continue to bless the meeting here today. Pray, Lord, that you continue to bless this parish of Ascension. I ask that you continue to guide, lead, and direct us in a mighty way. And Lord God, as we leave this place tonight, I ask, Lord, that you allow each of us to get home safe and sound. In your name we pray. Say amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Appreciate that. We'll move on to no chair's edition. Anyone wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign in and get with Ms. Cinnamon. We're going to go to 5, the approval of the minutes of May 11th. Moved by Mr. Wagensback, second by Mr. Lawler. We're going to go to general business. Mr. Bill.
Okay. I guess you guys have a copy of all this. This was posted, but it's the same format for the report that we did from the very start, which is start off with this transfer of assets of ACUD2, that's progressing along from what I understand. The approval of that is going to be sometimes between the end of this year and the first quarter of next year. So that's a transfer of assets to NWI of the sewer assets. The second bullet, you'll see these sewer treatment issues. Those are going to be talked about when Carl gives his report. The goals for 2022, we just update these at every meeting. So we have just a general goal, and we have quality water, safe drinking water, and I'm supposed to schedule an operational audit of the treatment facilities, and we haven't done that yet. I haven't done that yet. Evaluate the current meter system in both ACUD and PUA, and this is that report from SJB, so I put a copy of it in front of each one of you. I think you'll find that interesting. Remedy compliance, as far as the audit that was conducted through ACUD2, we completed the variances there. Providing assistance to really NWI, it's not the PSC, they haven't asked us for anything. Safe workplace, we have Mr. James LeBlanc, and he's going to implement a work permit system for us to use at the water plant. The net consolidated utility income statement, I've been working on that, and actually, this is really just a combination of ACUD1, ACUD2, and PUA. So, and if you look at that, at the combination of those three and where we are this year versus our expenses, then we're at about, so we're in the completion of the 7th month, and our expenditures are about 25% below what's been budgeted. So, if we continue on that pace, and I really don't have the capabilities of looking to see when in the calendar, if there's some things that are not weighted to the calendar, but if we continue on that same path, we'll be about $2 million below budget. I don't expect it to be that much, but at least we're not looking at the other side of that this year. New initiatives and projects, this Neptune pilot test program, we had a meeting this morning. This is where we're going to take the subdivision of St. Jude 87 meters in that subdivision. They are manual read meters. We're going to take those out and put the Neptune, the latest model Neptune in there. We're going to install an antenna there that will transmit back into our water office. So in place of these manual meters, we'll have almost real-time readings in our office. A lot of things that helps us with. One, this is one of the walk routes that the meter readers have, so it's very inefficient. This will be I'm hoping that it's a press a button and create the bills and, without all this other. Also, getting the real-time readings allows us to anticipate where the leaks are before a 30-day period. So you'll see those rates go up and have a notification that you have something abnormal, and it'll tell you the customer, and we can go out there and investigate that. They have a technology that's recommended from Neptune. We are not going to institute that for the billing at this point in time, but we will get that the download, the Neptune meter readings downloaded to it, and we're going to mirror that with our current system. I have Councilman Lawler had asked at one of the meetings, I don't remember when it was, Aaron, 2 or 3 months ago maybe. You don't even remember asking.
I don't know what it is yet.
But asked me to look at the solar panels, and so if you guys, that's included in the civic clerk. I won't go through the whole report, but generally what it says is that without grants or other type of incentives, the payback on the solar is about 15 years. Normally, my experience in business is that you wouldn't take on a project like this unless it would pay for itself in less than 5 years. So, unless we can get incentives, I think there's probably going to be some grants available. Then, I don't think this is viable at this time financially, but, it's an easy thing to calculate when you get to the point that you can have some incentives. For example, there was a 50% tax credit on the state side and a 30% tax credit on the federal side. So if you put in an 80% tax credit, that 15 years goes to less than 3. So, you can see that there are possibilities. We also believe that obviously this technology is going to get cheaper, and more than likely the electricity on the grid is going to get more expensive. None of that was built into this model, but so it's a screening level. I think all it did right now is tell us, I don't think we need to investigate it any further. So does anybody have any questions on that?
Go ahead, Mr. Stan.
I was going to wait to the actual agenda item, but hey, I'll do it now.
Yeah, well, it's on the agenda twice, but I
Yeah.
thought I'd
Okay.
cover it here.
That's why I was a little confused when you said, I asked you something months ago. One of the reasons I want to bring this up, though, is that I say we, but the administration continues to stay apprised of any grant activity that may be available and any tax rebates that may be available. Because the parish can't get them, we can always get into a situation where we are, there's a contractor that's going to own the panels and everything. We get the energy from them, they get the tax credit. There are different ways to do it that have been in other municipalities. But generally, it was just saying, hey, let's keep looking at this, because this current presidential administration, the federal level, is very much about green, regardless of whether our own personal feelings are about being green. They're very much about it, and they're going to put a lot of money into it. So I just want us to be ready that if we do find out there are grants, we have an opportunity to go get that, and our grant department's looking for that.
I think I saw in the headlines there's like $300 billion in the bill. I don't know if it's been signed yet or not, the one that they currently are working on, I think.
If we could get half of that, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would cover the electric costs for quite a while. Okay.
Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Bill, you talked about all of the perks that you have in the St. Jude subdivision. My first question, I think I talked with you about this earlier. How did we come to agreeing to do that particular area?
Well, one of the things that we looked at is the propagation of the waves on the antenna. So, when you do this final system, then, there are very specific locations that you put the antenna so you can get the coverage of the entire area for the least amount of antennas. And so this was one that was really kind of isolated out, and we could go out there and put an antenna in that area easier than we could in one of the areas that's congested. Secondly, it's a unique entity almost. So you have St. Jude subdivision. The boundaries are very clear, and it's a place that has 87 meters, which was really that's what we were looking for, to about 100 meters for this test, which gives you enough to where we can learn something, but not so many that we can't handle that, and it puts an extra burden on our people. Now, I did get the quote on this today, and I'm going to work with purchasing on it, but I thought it was very reasonable. The quote was about $35,000. That's for them to install the meters. That's us buying the meters. That's for them connecting the antenna and all the everything that's necessary to get those readings into the house. Also, there's this new legislation or statutes on galvanized pipe and lead pipe, and they are willing to, while they're in there at the meter, they're willing to collect the data necessary for us to be in compliance with that new regulation about identifying lead and galvanized pipe. So it was just, there was no look at. I'll tell you, the most thing that we looked at was propagation for the antenna.
Okay. And the other thing you mentioned with some of the perks that we said this was going to provide, one of them was the ability to look at if there was a leak, having a leak that you'd be able to identify, and you would be able to let the customer know that there is a leak. On our part, we'll be able to see it and notify them.
Yeah, absolutely, and so that's one of the big advantages, I think, of having the real-time or near to real-time reading in our place. They also offered to have a monitor. They actually will monitor this for you. I guess it's similar to monitoring on an alarm system, but if you could get a notification over the weekend, then we could have them monitor this. I didn't get a price for that. And then they could call you and say, look, customer so-and-so, they've got excessive water use. They're showing excessive water use. You need to come. And so, yeah, there are a lot of advantages. I think Coach is going to level out the readings once we get this done. Mm-hmm. Of course, we have the PUA, and Carl's going to talk about that. We have the project with the Corps to replace all these meters in PUA, and we're going to start on that as soon as we get the okay from the Corps. If at the end of this pilot program that's not available, then we may choose to move forward with another 100 meters.
So at this time, within that area, the average water bill would be, if you was to say the average water bill within that secluded area would possibly be, what would you say that?
No, I don't really have any idea, because we go by routes on the meter readers. We don't really isolate the subdivision there. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I were to guess, I would say it's in the 50.
30,
Yeah.
40, 50
But that's also
bucks.
bill and sewer,
Without the sewer, take the
let's
sewer
say,
out.
probably $45.
Yeah, $40 to $50. That would be my guess.
Yeah, and the reason I say that is I haven't had any problems. We haven't had, as far as I know, any problem with that area in itself, complaining about any water, sewer, anything like that. So I would hope that we would continue the improvement and the upgrades that we need done, keeping up with what's going on.
Yeah,
So appreciate it, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, sir. You want to
So
continue on, Bill?
that's- Yeah, that's the end of my report, Mr. Chairman. Now, we have, the rest of those are on the agenda.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions for Mr. Bill on the department report? Mr. Wagensback, anything? Mr. Turner?
So I would like to make one introduction, if you don't mind. We have Mr. Matt Didier. He's one of our interviewees for the utility director job, and he was brave enough to come tonight, and so just to
Nice.
recognize him.
All right. Nice to meet you, man. Just real quick, Bill, what, per meter, what is about $400 a meter?
It's $330 for the meter itself, and then $60 for the installation. So you're pretty close.
Well, and just to ease Mr. Thomas' mind, the information that you're gonna get off of this, I mean, if there's a blowing line or, something past the customer, you'll get, like you said, immediate response. Whereas when you have meter readers out there, you wait 30 days and then you find a problem. This problem is, you're gonna catch it right off. Yeah, so,
Well, also, Mr. Chairman, I mean, our long-term goal is to come in and get this same connection for the supply lines and the distribution lines. So, we'll be able to look at those and know whether we have a problem there immediately when we have a problem.
So I'll
sure, yeah, go ahead.
I'm hoping it's not just that area that we plan to implement those changes.
We're going to do the
One of
whole
some of
city.
our-
We're
some
going to
of
do the
our-
whole city of Dawsonville.
Okay, the PUA,
PUA.
Yes.
All the PUA.
that's that's.
I
our
think it's
meters.
about 3,500 meters if I'm, is that right? Yeah.
That's gonna be,
$330,
that's gonna be pretty good,
That's good.
Mr.
It's going to be
Bill.
excellent.
I think it'll be awesome, that we wouldn't, be getting some of the high water bills that.
We can at least catch up to the 20th century.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, that would be mighty fine. Thank you. Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, we'll clean up with that. We'll go to B, the PUA and ACUD, number one. Ms. Bro.
Good evening. Just a little quick update of what's going on in the billing office. Currently, the billing office is short-staffed. We had an employee have an emergency medical issue who will be out for approximately 12 weeks. So we're asking the public to please be patient with us, especially on disconnect days. Right now, we're directing all our calls to the call center. The call center's taking messages, sending them back to us. We want to service the customers in-house first, of course. So please be patient with us. We have a new employee coming Monday, but it's going to take a few days, a week, hopefully max, that I can get her trained real quick on a few things. We have cutoffs coming again, due dates are coming, so please, we ask Councilman Thomas, please let your constituents know, just be patient with us, we're short-staffed. With that in mind, we've had to move one teller from the front. We've moved her in the back to work on PUA billing, so that's putting me working on ACUD, billing in the back, and now I'm splitting my time in the front, taking collections. So just to kind of let y'all know what's going on there. As Bill briefly spoke about, we are actively looking at merging our two systems into one billing system, one collection system. I'm excited about that. We need that instead of one person knowing this one. Everybody in our office right now can take money for ACUD and PUA. That's something new that we have. There's no, I only collect for ACUD. No, everybody collects for everything. Moving on, aging reports. Councilman Thomas, I hope this is going to make you happy. Regarding inactive accounts for both PUA and ACUD number one. This has been something that I have went through personally, every account that has been closed. This was a time-consuming project, but it was needed. It was discovered that we had accounts with outstanding balances, and the deposit was never applied to the outstanding balance. We have went in and applied the deposit. We've reduced the aging balance, and in some cases, we've zeroed out the account totally and refunded the customer. We were also, had a few accounts that had deposits on the books that was never refunded to the customers. So we are now in the process of refunding that money to the customers. We also found accounts that were never zeroed out. For example, when an account is closed, customers do periodically, we have several customers that pay just $100, and then they may close their account 3 months later. They hadn't used the $100. The credit was still on the books. So we've had to go in and refund these customers as well. I'd like to really thank Ashley Barnes and the Finance Department for working so closely with me to ensure we did not refund these customers and we were doing a duplicate. We hadn't found that issue at all. We had one issue. One out of all of them that we went through, one of them. So these accounts are being zeroed out. It did reduce our debt on the ACUD number 1 side for outstanding balances. Not by a lot, but every little bit helps. Just to let you know, this is issues from the past. This is not how we do things at the office. Just a little brief. When an account is closed, we create a final bill. We take the deposit, we apply the deposit to the outstanding balance. Anything left over, we refund the customer. Same thing goes for credits. So this wasn't done every time. I don't want to say it wasn't done at all. It just wasn't done every time. It wasn't closely monitored. We are closely monitoring them now. So finance sends us a copy of the check that they're refunding the customers, and then I'm going in and ensuring that the accounts are zeroed out now. So that's something that we were able to give some money back to some customers in Donaldsonville. So hope that makes you happy, Councilman Thomas. As you're all aware, I was sent to the billing office to review the finances last year regarding the audit. I'm happy to report from July of 2021 and December 21, the changes and policies that we put in place, the auditors have now cleared us. We have no exceptions, 0. So we have solved every problem, and I'm very proud of that. I want to thank my staff for being open to the changes and to making suggestions to make this run just a little bit smoother. Also, just let y'all know, we are continuing to balance to the penny every day. So there's no balancing issues at all. And that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'm happy to report.
Yes,
Mr. Thomas.
In that report, again, I would like to give a shout out to you, Kimberly, and you, Bill. Things have been going as smooth as we can expect. And the improvements that we've made for the last, say, 2 years and a half that we've come to have tremendously upgraded the water company itself. And the problems that we had seem as though we have taken care of those. And I think things are working as smooth as we expected it to be. And I want to thank both of you all for doing a great job and working so hard. And the workers that we have, that you all hired, they've been doing a good job too. I haven't had any complaints. I was hoping that I can say what I just said. We haven't had any complaint from the customers about the water bill fluctuating. But again, I want to thank you. Appreciate the hard work.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job. Yes, thank you. Appreciate you, Ms. Thomas. And I'll echo that also. Hey, look, when you get a clean audit, I mean, we doing things right, and thanks to y'all and all the hard work. When we took this water business over, it was a little challenge, but y'all making it a little easier now. Definitely appreciate it. You finished, Ms. Bro?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll move on to C, the updates on grants. Mr. Cole?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, councilman, committee members. Y'all have a copy in the report, but I'll just elaborate on and go over the status updates. The movement of the PUA intake structure. Bids were open on the Bayou Lafourche Freshwater District Pump Station project, that large project to move and upgrade their pumps on April 14th, 2022, this year. The water intake structure, the portion came in at 1.5 million, with the apparent low bidder being Sea Level Construction out of Thibodeau. and I haven't got an update. Made some calls today to see when that actual activity may be started and when they award and get to work, and I'm staying on top of that. Any questions there?
Mr. Thomas?
My question would be that the monies, the grant monies, I know we have our situation with the PUA system, and me and Bill been talking relentless on changing the pipes, so to speak, and the monies that we have, or the monies that we looking to get toward getting those projects done.
We're looking at some of that in the water sector program that's upcoming, and also the 219 portion has with the Corps, which is one of the items here that they're in the process of approving the switch over the money from the Hillaryville sewer project to that. We're waiting the final approval for that switch, and we should soon be seeing the co-payment part letter requesting. But that is going to be, that portion with the Corps is going to be for design. We've pinpointed some areas that we're going to use the water sector money on to try and get that, the worst areas taken care of first.
Well, and that was my next question. I know we identify
Yes.
parts of town, and most of our situation, most of our problems that we're having is in the PUA. And I, myself, and a lot of other people within the PUA system would be very happy to see that we can start getting the
Yes,
some of
sir.
the pipes,
Jason with the water
changing the
plant.
pipes and getting some of that stuff done as quickly as possible. And I know we've been talking about this for quite some time, but
Yeah.
the day to come to where we can see the pipes being lifted and new pipes going down, that's going to be
Yes, sir. And
of
Jason,
the-
our plant manager, has done a survey, and he's identified the areas that we need to attack first.
That's good. Thank you, Chairman.
Sure,
Appreciate it.
Okay, and marrying in to some of the stuff Bill was talking about was the PUA water meter replacement. That's the other portion of the, that was 2021, 219 money. And that we have, we received 100% drawings and specifications. The project is at the Corps Division Office in the justification and approval review portion of their studies. And we anticipate that. I'm actually tried to call Ms. Williams, who is my contact with the Corps, today to see if there was an update, because we should be getting in the next week or two the determination on the approval, and they're confident that it is. It's just taking a little while, and they are still anticipating to possibly go to bid next month in September.
Sounds good. Sounds good, Mr. Chairman.
Sure. You finished, Mr. Call, or you have?
Well, we touched on the West Bank piping replacements. I think we can, unless y'all have any other questions with that, I'll move on. We have the FEMA PUA generator projects. That's the 300 kW generator for the treatment plant, and 250 kW generator for the ground storage facility. They went to bid, and in May, the apparent low bidder rescinded his bid. And we looked at it, and for time constraints, we are going to move forward and take the second lowest bid. But to do that, inside the FEMA budget, there's 5 different categories, 5 different line items. And to move money, some of them had surpluses that we could use money to defray what the parish would pay out of pocket. But it takes and we've determined that, and we've applied for the budget amendment, which is, they are reviewing, and we're waiting on approval for that. And there was also when we brought a notice of award to the purchasing department, there was a question because there was a period of time with the FEMA applications, there was a period of time between the actual bid opening and the award, and we're checking with legal to see if we can actually move forward with that. Questions there?
I don't know if this pertains to that, but in talking to Bill, the motors down at the station on LaFourche Street, is that LaFourche?
Yeah.
Veterans.
Yeah, that's
of
LaFourche
yeah.
Street, yeah.
Just for a note, to the customers and the neighbors within the area, those 2 pumps have been changed. I just wanted to notify and just allow them to know that this has been changed and they are back in running condition.
Right.
We had a constituent that was real concerned about it, and they was pretty much very adamant about getting it fixed. It took quite some time, but we did a good job in getting that done, and they need to know that it is fixed and things have been repaired, and both of the motors are back in shape.
Both
Yes.
the motors are back and they've been installed, so, one of them operates as a spare, so, what we had is, we had a problem with the power supply and it burned up both of the motors, so, that's not something you would normally see, and so we had to bring in a diesel pump. Good thing that we had it, really.
But all that has been corrected and things are working fine.
Yeah, and the motors have been rewound and the bearings, they've all been going through, and one of them is operating as a spare now, so.
Okay. And again,
And it's quiet over there.
well, thank you all. One of our constituents was really concerned with it, and it was taking some time, but again, finally we got it fixed. Both of them are fixed, both of them are running, and things are going as usual.
Yeah.
Thank you all. I appreciate it again.
Yeah,
Bill.
it took a while, but, with this situation, the supplies and the labor, it just was longer than that we're used to.
Well, you had a lot of back order stuff
Right.
not coming in as usual, and this is happening all over, so it just took longer than we expected. But again, it's fixed, and we just needed to notify them, allow them to know that things is all back to where it normally is.
Correct.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. And,
All right.
We got one more,
let's
at least
make
read
sure that
that
we,
bottom line on the last one.
okay, let's make sure we're clear on this. The installation of the generators will eliminate the, if we'd ever have to get backup generators again, these will be permanently in place
Yes.
and automatically switch over and
Yes,
ready to
automatic
go.
transfer switch.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Next item is everybody's favorite project. And not much has changed. Statistics and the percentages are basically the same as this was done last week. The only items changed is the contract time extension. There will be no extension. The contract time has expired, and they have been placed on liquidated damages as of Monday this week at $500 a day, which would be, and that $500 per day would be deducted from their invoices as we move forward.
Mr. Turner
questions?
has a question.
Oh, I ain't think we have a question, but me and Bill had talked about it.
Oh, okay.
And that it was time to just cut ties with them.
So just to kind of remind everybody on the liquidated damages, the work should still go on. We expect them to continue to work, but whatever work they invoice us for will be offset with this $500 a day liquidated damages.
Any other comments or questions on the Darrow sewage? As far as the roads, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Turner.
Have they been notified already?
Yes,
They've been notified.
yes.
Okay, and did they respond?
They got a certified letter, Monday.
Okay, so I'm assuming we haven't got a response yet.
Well, the response.
They've shown,
yeah.
they're back at work, so they're accepting. As of now.
Apparently, they're gonna have some argument about whether there's some more days due them, but 2 years behind on a one-year project is hard to get my sympathy.
It's not that
And-
many days.
That point is something I'm researching right now, is as far as time that if they consider that they're owed, what to do with that.
So I think Councilman Turner has been down there, but as far as the roads,
The roads are
I've
good
ridden
now.
them 2 or 3 times. They're good. There was one spot on that Martinez Road that they were going to come back and fix, but other than that, the asphalt was done well. And of course, that was the parish did that. That wasn't the contractor.
Right.
Right.
And I hope I can say, Councilman Turner, that you haven't gotten any complaints. Well,
Not
not
recently.
none, but about the roads.
Yes, none about the roads, none about the roads.
I think they've overstayed their welcome for sure.
Yes.
Great.
That was it.
You had anything else, Carl?
No, I don't. That's it.
Any other questions? We'll call. Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
The last time, I think Travis, you had a customer here was complaining about the dust, and was they accommodated for anything in that area? That we was looking into accommodate those folks, were they?
Oh, I think he's
The
talking about,
dust was road-related.
yeah.
That,
It wasn't the dust, it was the tires.
Tires, yeah,
Yeah, there was something with the tires.
right.
Did she ever contact? Did we ever make contact with her as far as the tires?
No, not yet.
Okay. I'll get the contact information from her and forward it to you.
Have you heard from her again?
Not since then, but I know who it is, so I would just do
Okay.
a follow-up.
Refresh me with the name, and I'll go check on it, make sure we can move that forward.
Okay.
And, Coach, the sewer contractor's not doing enough to create any dust.
okay. It's been too wet anyway, so. All right.
Okay, with that, we'll move on to D with the presentation of the solar panel screen.
Well,
What
I
you gonna
did
do?
that under the report, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. You had anything you wanted to add to it,
I
Aaron?
forgot what I asked last time, so I'll do it again if you don't mind. No, we're good.
Good deal. And the last thing is E with discussion of locating sewer lines on Highway 42. Just to let the board know and everyone that, they've been having some cuts out there. It's been causing some serious backup and problems. I know we're still in this, middle of this, are we in the sewer business, are we out of sewer business, whatever. What I would like to see is every 500 feet, they have a marker with a phone number. And if we want to put, whatever name you want to put on it, someone needs to have accountability when these other companies are calling in and locate these lines. Dealing with it personally, last 2 cuts, they were pretty significant. And, these residents along Highway 42, they deserve better, good service and protection of the line. So I would ask that, let's start putting phone numbers. Let's get some, when someone pulls up on site, they should be able to, if it's not located, it's their job duty to find out who's the sewer company in the area and make phone calls. So And I think we should do this with, any utility, water, whatever we have that the parish owns, we need to have some kind of marking and phone number for it.
Mr. Chairman, I think I can report that at least this contract that's doing the boring for energy, I provided them with 2 copies of the as-built drawings, sewer
Sure.
drawings for Highway 42. So they should be well equipped to avoid the pipes now.
Sure.
So
Mr.
how
Now,
does
that's not-
that get into the Dottie system, Dempsey?
Good that you mentioned that. Today is 811 day.
Are
There's
we
several,
supposed to call
several,
811?
if, future people coming on, we need to have, some accountability with it. And, like I said, they give you all the companies that are listed that's gonna, provide markings and locates, and we need to make sure that these sewer lines are in that system, or like what Mr.
So we
Call's
need
doing,
to,
providing.
what I'm trying to understand is we need to contact Dottie, is that correct? And give them our as-bills, or how does that work?
They take those, or you can give them computer drawings, whatever mapping
are,
system you have.
We're in the system on the West Bank already, and I'll get with Zianka to see how that's set up and how to get it initiated, but
Okay.
that's really the only sewer that we have that's anybody would be doing a contract with, maybe Hope Villa or Hope Country Ridge, but otherwise, that's really the only, on this side of the river, the only utility pipe that we have in the ground.
Sure. Mr. Aaron, you had anything you wanted to add to that?
No, you're good on it.
Mr. Wagensback? Mr. Turner?
Good.
Mr. Thomas, we are
All good.
barreling down to number 7. Anything from staff before we close? Thank y'all so much for a good job, Motion adjourned by Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Wagensback.